Following the concerns by motorists over the automated express penalty system, EPS Auto, especially those exceeding 30 km per hour, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Ssenyonyi, has petitioned the Transport Ministry over the manner of implementation. This comes as the matter continues to dominate public opinion since the government started implementing the Transport Ministry regulations in a bid to return discipline to the roads. Ssenyonyi wants the ministry to review the implementation of the EPS Auto system, to conduct broad consultations with stakeholders, institute corrective measures where necessary. He adds that the road safety is a shared goal that ought to be pursued in a manner that is fair, just and respectful of the rights and safety of Ugandans.
But the challenge there has been is too many questions are not answered, and so the public is confused. People are saying, wait a minute, how did I get this fine? Which is very costly. I've accumulated so many of them in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It's not making sense. And so there is no proper understandability about this. They should have taken good enough time to get people acclimatized. This is what's happening. This is when you get a fine, when you do A, B, C, and it is...
The public outcry comes with Parliament now on a short recess ahead of the reading of the national budget later this week. A document has appeared online showing that of the funds collected from the vehicle owners, the joint stock company Global Security, which runs the EPS Auto, receives 80%, while the government is restricted to 15% and NEC takes 5%. Ssenyonyi says the issue was raised in a minority report to Parliament earlier on as they handled the issues of digital number plates. However, he wonders how this company ended up receiving money from Ugandans while it had registered for bankruptcy back in Russia.
$510 million US, which is going to accrue from the fines over a period of time. 80% of that money is going to this private company. So the total collection will be, nearly 2 trillion Uganda shillings estimated. Now 80% of that is about 1.6 trillion shillings going to the private company. Only 20% is going to government. How does that make sense? Who owns this company? This company has got no historical competence of doing this kind of work.
Parliament is responsible for making laws in the country, and as it amended the Traffic and Road Safety Act 2023, most of the penalties imposed on motorists were not listed during the scrutiny of the bill. However, he notes that the law allows the minister to develop regulations to enable the implementation of the law. The Works and Transport Ministry made the new controversial regulations. Ssenyonyi wants ministerial regulations to be reviewed by Parliament to reduce on the outrageous punishments to road users.
Severally said, when you make those regulations, bring them first to Parliament. Of course, some have said, well, that will be giving Parliament bulky work to do, that all the time it will be handling all these regulations and that kind of thing. But I have always said, then what's our work? Who has said we are complaining about this bulk of work? Because sometimes the problem is in those details. Bring all the regulations, table them, let them go before a relevant committee so that they can be scrutinized. Otherwise, I think that at times ministers and other entities are left with a lot of power, and so they end up being totalitarian, which is not a good thing.
The Ministry of Transport is in receipt of a letter from Ssenyonyi, but is yet to comment as officials there insist that they are carrying out consultations on the matter. For now, ministry officials say they will continue to implement the new EPS auto regulations. Juma Kiriya, NTV.